So, today I want to talk to you about a question that you can ask yourself that will give you peace when you are having a challenging situation, and that will open your eyes, your ears, and your mind to opportunities that are around you in order for you to be able to solve this issue that you're dealing with right now. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. So, in this personal development journey of mine, I've had to learn to ask the right questions so that I'm able to move forward and move forward in peace, right? Still maintaining the inner peace that I have no matter what is going on in my life, no matter the storm. I mean, like giving thanks and having peace no matter what is going on. It was a matter of me asking the right question so that I'm able to maintain my peace and I'm able to go after my dreams and go after the goals that I've had and actually achieve the goals that I set for myself. So, for a long time, I would ask myself a question, but why, why, why? Why me? Why now? Why this? I would ask myself those kind of questions when I would be in a ditch. What did I do? Why couldn't I do better? I mean, I would get into a space where I bash myself so hard. I'm so unkind to myself because I would feel disappointed with myself because most of the things I would feel like, you know what, I didn't give it my all. I should have done better. And the more I said that to myself, the more stressed I got, the more anxiety I got myself into, and the more minor depression I would get myself into because I was asking the wrong question. So today I want to talk to you about asking the question, how? It is that simple, but it makes a lot of difference. You will not believe. In a situation where I wasn't working, in 2015, I was trying out all sorts of things, but I was still trying to get a job back in the finance industry, right? I mean, I would apply for jobs and nothing would happen. And I would ask myself, but Lord, why? Or I would ask God rather, why, Lord, why am I not getting these opportunities? I mean, what did I do wrong? What is it that I can do better? I mean, Lord, why am I in this situation? I mean, I was so depressed because at the time I didn't have direction for my life. I was unemployed and I was trying to have a baby and I just couldn't conceive. So it was just a lot of things that I was going through. And I kept asking myself, but why is this happening to me? I mean, I've been trying to be good, Lord, but why are you taking me through all of these things that I'm going through? Right? It was when I learned to ask the question, how did I find myself getting a job? Did I start getting direction for my life? It was because of me asking the question, how did I actually leave even the job that I found? Because I knew for sure at that point that I was in a wrong space, right? So I got confidence in myself. I got confidence in the decisions that I was making. And I was also confident in the fact that I'm able to achieve the dreams that I set for myself, right? So when I started asking the question, how did I get myself in this mess? For example, where I found myself failing one subject 3-4 times, right? I asked myself, but how did I get myself in this mess? Where I found that I was working, but I didn't have any savings. My money was just running dry. I found myself asking, how did I get myself in this mess? where I'm sitting home unemployed with no direction. When I started asking myself the question, how? Then it forced me to really be honest with myself. It forced me to really look into my actions, my words, my philosophies, my attitude towards life, to look at everything that I've been doing as a package so that I could understand exactly how did I get myself in a situation where I never planned for my life. Never in my life did I ever plan to be unemployed with no direction. The one thing that had always thought I was sure of about my life is where I was going in life and what I wanted to do with myself, right? So to find myself in a situation where I was completely lost, I didn't know which direction to go. I didn't know who I was at that point. It was a shock to me. And for a long time, I kept asking myself, why? And the more I asked the question why, the more I felt bad about myself, the more I felt bad about where I was at that point in my life. But when I started asking the question, how did I get myself here? I had to assess every aspect of my life, to check what I was doing, to check why was it that when I make decisions, I didn't stick to them. What caused me to not do what I was supposed to do? When I asked myself how, then those kind of questions that were forcing me to reassess my life came through. And the more I looked into what I was doing at the time, the more I realized there were things that I could do immediately, that I could change immediately, that will start getting me into the kind of mood that I needed inside of me, into the kind of confidence that I needed to get myself out of the rest of the challenges that I was experiencing. So I just wanted to ask you, with your child right now, the struggles that you are having, they are just getting into teenagehood. Have you ever really sat down with her or him and asked the question, but how did we get to this point? We used to have a great relationship. Or have you been, screaming every single day in their ear and hoping they will change? Isn't it time you start sitting your teenager down and ask them, how did we get to this point? Because, I believe that a child doesn't just change all of a sudden. This child is mean, especially when they are really behaving badly. There is those differences between parents and young people, where young people now are getting to a stage where they believe they are adults, they are grown up, they can make their own decisions. But you as a parent know that, oh my gosh, you are such a baby, you won't even believe it. I'm going to help you. I'm trying to protect you not to fall into the trap that I'm seeing you going into. There are those discussions, right? But then there is a point where your child doesn't even want to hear anything when you say it. They really fume when you start talking about discipline, when you start talking about behaving right behavior. They just don't want to hear it. Have you asked yourself, but why are they behaving like this, especially towards you? Maybe they can listen to the dad. Maybe they can listen to the mom. But when you start talking, the child really fumes. It is time when you recognize that that is what's happening. When your child is extra mean, they're totally out of it, out of character. That's the time when you need to sit down with them and ask them, how did we get ourselves in this situation? We used to have a great relationship. What happened? How did we get ourselves here? I tell you, when you start asking such a question, then it will force both of you to reassess the relationship that you currently have, to reassess your words. And maybe at that point, you'll figure out what the problem is. Maybe at that point, the child will now have the courage to tell you exactly what made them change, right? Unlike sitting and waiting for them and having a screaming match in the house that will keep you in the same position that you're in. You are currently feeling stuck in your career. You feel like nothing is moving. And you've been saying, why me? I mean, I do my best, but nobody ever recognizes what I'm doing. The question shouldn't be why you. The question should be, how can you get yourself to be recognized? How can you get yourself to a position where people take note of the fact that you are here and you are actually interested in a promotion? What is it that you can do right now that will make sure that you position yourself for elevation? The one thing that I've learned is that, companies do not pay you for the time that you spend with them or in these companies. They pay you for the value that you add to the company. So maybe when you start asking yourself, but how did I get myself to a point where I'm stuck in my career? You'll find that maybe you haven't been studying, or maybe you haven't really been keeping up with the changing trends in your industry. Maybe it's because you have been sitting in a corner and people are thinking that you are happy. You have never voiced out any interest of promotion, right? People are so sure that, they want to promote you, but they don't believe that that's what you want, because you've never said anything to anybody about your ambitions of growing in your career. So when you start asking the question, how, then it stops being about other people. It stops being about what the world is doing to you. It starts being about you taking control of your life, you reassessing your part in this mess that you are in right now. And you know what? The minute you start understanding exactly how you got yourself in this mess that you're in, it will be the minute that you start saying, then what then can I do? How do I move from this point now to a point where I want to find myself? Then that gives you so much clarity about where you are right now. That gives you so much clarity about the challenge that you are experiencing right now when you ask yourself how. Because once you understand what the problem is, then it is easy to try and find solutions. I mean, we do it in business all the time. We can never go out and solve a problem that we have not identified. But somehow, when it comes to our personal lives, when it comes to the things that we are going through, we forget that strategy, that there is no way you can deal with something that you haven't clearly defined. So the how question gives you peace because it helps you define what the problem is. And once you see what the problem is, it is easy to find solutions to that problem. It is easy to find solutions to that challenge that you are facing right now. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach. Bye.